The Pits. I love this film.
I just thought it was authentic and it was very fun, and you got lost in sort of trying to explore how she sort of became an adult, because you saw that she was struggling with this idea when she was young, and it was still sort of affecting her as an adult, and I thought that was very interesting, and it sort of broke down the barriers a little bit, how she explored this relationship with this guy, so it was fun.
I just gotta make a comment. Did anybody else feel this like crimping and palpable sexual tension that was like really, really hard to shake off? Like when they see the scene with him in bed, I was like, yes! Anybody else? No, just me? Yeah, other people? Yeah, I'm seeing lots of heads now. See, one of the things I liked about this was that it was really, really refreshing. Because everyone's been there. Everyone's had some sort of self-conscious moment where they're like, oh man, am I just like everybody else? Is everybody else like me? Does everyone else have this problem? And like whatever it is, it's incredibly relatable. Although this individual thing might not be relatable to everybody, the notion of it is. And then all of a sudden you're standing on the precipice of a delta and you realize that you've created a fear that's keeping you from connecting with other people, right? And the idea of having to burst through that is just so wonderful. Also, I love the moment she opens up her spice drawer and I was like, yeah, that's a bachelorette pet. All those bland spices.
I also thought there was a really interesting whitewashed immigrant experience running through the whole movie. Of her having experienced that as a young person, having chosen to essentially push away parts of that identity entirely, and then that shows up at the elevator when she hears him say that he's just gotten here. Suddenly the interest actually turns off. It shows up multiple times, and the assumptions she makes about what he has to offer, whether it's in terms of food or the movie at the very end. And so I think that was a really interesting narrative, especially in a place like Canada. A lot of us, I think, go through those struggles of how much of what you came from do you keep and how much do you push away.
And I just wanted to add on to that because I thought it was interesting that they didn't elaborate on that at the end when he was like, well, why don't you smell? And we can't tell if she smelled Indian food or not. And so it kind of speaks to that, like, was there a moment of change there, or was she comforted in her decision to not involve it in her life? And she can involve it in her life in this way, and this is how she experienced her Indianness through him.
I really like your scarf.
Oh, thanks. It was a travel souvenir, but I wish I didn't have to wear it this soon. So cold.
Is that because they don't give you that the ending, they kind of leave it up for you. Whatever she smelled, she liked, right? And what I got was whatever it was, she was cool with it. It was exactly what she wanted, right? Either I'm not alone, or this isn't important to me anymore, or I've met somebody who doesn't care. Like whatever it was a great moment. I also love the comment you made about that whitewashed feeling, because even he says her name with I don't want to put with an accent, and she says her name with an anglicized pronunciation, and then she says it again with the original. Like those little details, those subtle things that are weaved into this piece really paints an interesting picture. I'm an immigrant to Canada, and nobody would ever tell looking at me, but I felt a resonance because it's like there are parts of my identity that I have hidden when I came here because I didn't want people to know about where I was from, right? And people don't look at me and automatically assume. So I felt a huge outpour in my heart for this story because I don't get it, but parts of me want to.
Well, I might pray. I really love the title of this film, The Pits. Especially in the beginning scene where she doesn't hit the ball properly, so you think, oh, it's the pits on the one hand, but then she's Googling, underarm smell pits, and I thought that was kind of brilliant hook in the beginning.
It's a refreshing take on comedy, and I want more stories like this, right? Who liked it? By just show of hands, who just liked it? Oh man, look at that! All right, yes, who wants to hear a fun fact? We have the filmmakers in the audience tonight. Filmmakers, say hi.